listening to The Announcer's Table with Daryl and Ian. This podcast is presented by RingIcon.com, the social networking site for wrestlers, fans, promoters, and everything indie wrestling. Log on today and create your profile, and as always, enjoy the show.
Hey guys, this is Ian.
And I'm Daryl.
And this is The Announcer's Table, presented by RingIcon.com. And today we have Interview Wednesday. So,
Yep. I'm a little excited about this one. You remember a couple of weeks ago we had Hellcat Amanda Arden on.
Yep.
And got the women's take on being a valet and wrestling and, you know, the locker room stuff as it pertains to woman and,
Right.
you know, how she felt. This week I'm excited. Do you remember our first interview that we ever had was the man Scott Prater?
yeah.
This week we actually have the woman, Christa Prater, his wife. And she actually ran a promotion. We're going to get that take of a woman running a promotion and calling the shots in a mostly male-dominated place and seeing how that feels. Christa, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are y'all?
Doing great, doing great. I'm glad you could do this.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're going to ask you a few questions. One, how long have you been in the business?
Well, actually, I grew up in it. My brother, he wrestled, and my dad was a referee for many, many years. And I started myself when I was about 18 years old. Watched him there and watched Georgia. And it just kind of led from there. They wanted where my brother had been, so I wanted to do it too.
Yeah. So, how many things have you done in the wrestling business?
Well, I've run my own show. I've managed. I've wrestled. I've even valeted. I've done, you know, and I've done it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm excited, because I went to shows with you, and so I mean, I got to be a part of all that and see all that, and now we know you currently don't do it no more. Can you tell us why?
Well, about 6 years ago, I got sick and kept getting a lot of migraines, and I went to the doctor, and they told me that I had a cyst on my brain, and that if I took a hard hit to my head, but into aneurysm, and they called me.
Wow.
Yeah. So from that, you had to pretty much retire from doing any wrestling related stuff, but you still accompany the man Scott Prater to all his shows and stuff like that.
Oh,
which is
yeah.
really
I still go to the shows, and now I take pictures for Scott and for, you know, the other workers, and
Yeah.
I'm still there. I still go to the shows.
Now, let me ask you a question. Being a woman promoter, okay, and running your own, how do you feel you was treated as far as like respect and how things went in the back?
Well, I mean, you know me, Daryl. I got the respect. But as a woman, you have to work twice as hard. Because everybody gives guys respect, you know, when they do stuff. But it takes a woman that extra push, you know, just so that they can get, because it ain't that, oh, well, you're a woman, you can't do what guys can do.
Right. Yeah, and it's so rare in the wrestling business to be the promoter, or you know, usually they're just looked at as the valets or wrestlers. So you know, I can understand that.
Yeah, you actually was like
Yeah,
a part of
I wrestled your shows, and you know, you taught me a lot about the back and about a lot of the business and things like that. So you know, you got my respect 100%. You know, and so I know that your personality, you really demand the respect, and that's,
nobody ever gave you too much love.
So, and I guess that's kind of how you have to be in this type of business. So.
You really do when you're a woman, because people just look at you like, whatever, you can't do what these guys get out here and do. In all nationality, we can do it. And a lot of times, you got some women out there that's better than a lot of the guys are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a few on the indie scene that I've seen. I'm like, man, that was a really good match and stuff like that. And you know, I think they're getting a lot better. You know, WWE, like the divas at WWE, I'm not big fond on them, but like the women who wrestle on Impact, I actually like watching some of their matches because they wrestle a lot better than like what the divas do.
Right.
But there's a couple of divas coming up that are actually looking pretty good. Like Trinity, we talked about her last week. And then there's a couple that I've seen on the independent scene that's actually looking really good. So.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, well, Chris, we want to go into a couple of questions. It's the same questions we ask all our guests. It's a way for the fans of the show and us to get to know y'all pretty better. Pretty better? Is that that's
no,
not correct?
Definitely not.
That is not correct grammar. But you know what? I'm just going to go with it. We're going to get to know you pretty better. And let me ask you the first question. What is your favorite gimmick or gimmick match?
I think my favorite match was the King of the Ring with the man, Scott Prater, versus the Rocker, Terry Lawler.
Okay. And,
it was just,
who won that one?
The man did.
Of course.
I kind of figured.
But it was just all, I mean, all set aside Scott, you know, being my husband, all set aside that was, we weren't even together when that match took place, but that was an awesome match. Them boys fought their hearts out for that match.
Yeah, I mark out a little bit, you know, for Scott. I mean, I really enjoy watching Scott wrestle. I always have, you know, before we ever started doing the show, when I, you know, would go before y'all was when y'all was first getting together, and I would watch him wrestle. I would get excited about watching his matches. I still think he has one of the prettiest drop kicks I've ever seen. I've told that to everybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, right behind my
yeah, you know I love your drop kick.
My foot plant drop kick.
Yeah, your foot plant drop kick is awesome.
No, I'm just messing with you. But, well, you know, Christa, if you could wrestle anybody or even manage anybody, living or dead, who would you want that to be?
Well, that'd be two people. That'd be the Fabulous and Mae Young.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Fabulous Mula. They were great tag team, great wrestlers, great.
Yeah,
you know.
I like the stuff that they did with WWE later in their career. Mula has passed away in the past few years. Mae Young is still, she's hilarious. I mean, I don't know if she really knows what's going on half the time, but I mean, if she does, that's really good acting. Yeah. I mean, because she makes me laugh. Every time she's on TV, I crack up. Anytime they do some kind of gimmick with her, I laugh every time.
She's funny.
All right. Well, I probably know the answer to this one, but I'll go ahead and ask you, who is your favorite wrestler?
My favorite wrestler? That would be Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Dog. Wow, see, I thought you was going to go with, like, Fabulous Moolah or something.
Yeah.
Junkyard Dog. Man, that's like a name back in the day.
And Junkyard Dog, ever since I was a kid, he's always been my favorite.
What about him just, like, connects with you?
Just, like, when he comes out to the ring, I don't know, he just gives you that energy. You just want to get in there with him and just, you know, go at it. I don't know, he just gives you that feeling that you just want to get up and do whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
that's always been my favorite.
Well, if you had a favorite wrestling moment that's happened, you know, either to you personally or even just, you know, thinking of a wrestling moment, what would that be?
I'd have to say my favorite wrestling moment was when I tagged with Shane Williams and we faced the Avenger and Pleasure. It was an honor to be in the ring with the Avenger.
Oh, I loved the Avenger. I loved Boyd.
Yeah.
I mean, he was an amazing man.
Absolutely.
There'll never be another Boyd.
No, man, God rest his soul. He was that was your show, wasn't it, that match?
Yeah, sure was.
Because I want to think, I was there. Wasn't I announcing at the time for y'all?
Yes, you was.
Yeah, I thought I was. I want to say I remember that match, and I'm a big fan of Shane Williams anyways. I like his style. Yeah. I know he is starting to do a couple of bookings here and there. I don't think he's back full time, but I think he's hitting some places with some, you know, back in his old stomping ground and tearing some stuff up. And I'm hearing a lot of good stuff, you know, in the indie scene, in the Georgia indie scene. You know, they're excited. So
And Shane's a good worker.
Yeah. I remember her. I haven't seen her. Does she even? No, I meant. God, I'm having a brain.
I think Prater's retired.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm thinking she was retired because I haven't heard nothing about her or seen her in forever.
Yeah.
Since your show.
It's been a while.
Now, what is your most embarrassing moment that you've ever had in wrestling?
Well, there's two of them, actually. There's one, we did a run-in, and Pablo was sitting on one side of the ring, and I went flying to the ring. Ian was at this show. You were too, Daryl. I went sliding in, and I just kept on sliding. If I hadn't been for Plowboy, I'd have went on out the other end.
Nice. I think I remember that.
Yeah.
What's your other
When I
embarrassing
was out
moment?
there with Billy Love, I was battling with Billy Love, Billy swinging punches. Next thing I know, my boob done fell out. I was so embarrassed.
I bet I'd be a little embarrassed too. I mean, I get embarrassed now when my nipple slips out. You know, I mean, it's a little.
And that happens a
No,
lot.
you don't, Daryl. Don't lie.
Yeah, you're right. I don't. I keep trying to pass it off like it's actually slipping, and really, I bust it. I like to show it.
Yeah.
But
Crazy.
I remember that. Yeah. Well, not the boob part. I remember the sliding through the ring part.
Right. Well, do you have a favorite finisher or even a favorite wrestling move that you either like to do or that you like to see done?
Well, I love Scott, the manslaughter. When he comes off that top turnbuckle, I love it. It's just like, it's free as all get out. I love to watch that man wrestle.
Well, for people that don't know, it's very similar to the blockbuster that Buff Bagwell did, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a similar move, and he does a really good...
Yeah, Scott did it amazing, you know.
Yeah. So, who is your favorite champion of all time? And let me clear this up. It could be tag champions, United States, Intercontinental, independent champion somewhere, anybody.
Hello, the man Scott Prater.
All right, besides the man Scott Prater.
He was my favorite champion, too. It's okay.
I really don't like Scott Prater. He's horrible.
Other than Scott, I would have to say. I don't know, probably Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people say him.
Because he just, with the NWA title back in the early 90s or late 80s, that was his heyday,
Yeah, he's still, I don't think he should wrestle. I would like him to manage. I think he would be a great manager.
I agree.
But I don't want to see him wrestle anymore. Yeah. I think he should stop. But I think he pretty much has now.
Yeah.
Getting old up there in age.
Oh, yeah, it's like 60-something, right?
I think that's how it is.
Yeah.
I think he's in his early or mid-60s.
Yeah.
Well, if you could consider somebody overrated or underrated in the wrestling business, who do you think that would be?
Overrated, Brock Lesnar.
I agree with that. That's my overrated as well. I can't stand him. Yeah, I'm on the same boat. So.
My underrated is women. I think women are underrated.
I agree with that. I think not with WWE because I think they choose some of the wrong talent, or they pressure them too much or something. Yeah. There's something about WWE, but overall, women are definitely underrated in the indie scene.
If WWE had TNA's women division, I think WWE would just be hands out the total package. But
women in general in the wrestling business, definitely underrated completely.
I agree. I can agree with that.
I agree. I think they need to do something with Natalya in WWE.
I agree 100%. I think she needs to leave Tyson Kidd. I think she needs to come to me, move in with me, and we can have little Jim Danville Neidhart babies. They could grow up to be wrestlers.
Sure.
Yeah, because you got that red hair and all going on for him.
And my beard, my goatee is almost as long as his. Maybe she has a daddy complex and wants to get with me.
You're still not right.
You've known this for far too long. Who's your favorite tag team or stable?
Favorite tag team, Road Warriors.
Oh, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
What about stable?
Hardcore Horsemen.
Who?
The Four Horsemen.
The Four Horsemen? Okay. All right, yeah, I mean, a lot of people say them too.
Yeah, I mean, well, we always usually ask, which type of, which version of the Four Horsemen.
Which version of the Four Horsemen was your favorite?
Oh, the original.
The original? I like them, but I also like the one that had when Barry Windham was a part of them. Because, I loved Barry Windham back in the day. I mean, I thought, and when he was with the Four Horsemen, I thought, man, that's awesome. I wasn't a big fan of it when Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko was a part of them.
That's my
favorite.
Yeah,
I know wasn't either.
Yeah, well, that was Ian's
that
favorite.
was my favorite, just because I guess they were still kind of the group when I started watching. So
and then Ian's other favorite was when Mongo Met Michael was a part of the Four Horsemen. That was his favorite wrestler for so long.
Till Goldberg beat him.
Yep. But let's see. Oh, that's you there.
Oh, I was just making sure we didn't lose the call. Do you have a favorite catchphrase that you like?
Well, it's not really a catchphrase, but it's something I haven't told from Mr. Wrestling number 2 over and over again. You've always told me to don't believe anything that you hear and only believe half of what you see. And I say that to every guy, girl that comes into this business. That has stuck with me over these years. Yeah. When I told him back at Miss Kitty's that I was going to be a wrestler one day, that's what I kept telling him. I was little. But it has stuck in my head.
Yeah, because that kind of goes along with a lot of the drama, which Ian and I have talked about. We've done a show on the drama that can happen in ways to make it not happen. I mean, it's just because there's too much drama that gets going on in the locker room and just with personal agendas, and instead of just having love for what they're doing, people just want to come in and just cause a lot of crap, and it's pathetic.
I agree. It's not like it was when I first started. You had everybody back there was a family, and now it's like you have this group and you have this group, and these don't talk to these, and there's always some kind of drama, and it's just crazy because we're supposed to be one big family and have our back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, so that ends in the 10 questions. That way the fans can get a better chance to know you and know what your likes and dislikes are. And so thank you for answering those. Do y'all have anything going on? I know Scott likes to go down and wrestle in Barnesville, is it?
Yes, we did a Barnesville show on the 10th this month. We went down there, and it was a pretty good show. They had a lot of people there. Tommy Rich was there, and Ricky Morton was there. And then you had Pretty Boy Floyd, and the Awesome Ones, and, of course, the man Scott Prater.
Yeah, of course.
Now, and then you had Big Steel and Gage. So there was a lot of people there.
Yeah, I know Scott was telling me there was like a couple hundred people there at least.
Yeah, they usually have at least 300 or 400 people there.
Yeah, I know Ian and I have talked about going down there and catching it one time. It's just our schedules can never seem to click up.
Yeah.
But
we're wanting to make it down there so we can catch that show once. Is he
that's a good show.
Yeah.
Is that the only show he's doing right now, or is he doing any North Georgia bookings?
That's pretty much the only show that he's doing because, Scott works all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's pretty much the only show that he does.
Now, is it hard, sitting on the sidelines and watching it? And, is it hard for you? Do you still have that drive you just want to get out there and whoop some tail?
Yes. I think it's always going to be there. It's hard to sit there and even stand up next to the ring while I'm taking pictures, especially if somebody gets in there and they have no clue what they're doing. I just want to reach in there and snatch them out of the ring and be like, really? Are you that stupid?
Yeah.
I know the feeling.
So, all right, Christa, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for doing the interview and giving us some of your time. Is there anything else you want to add?
Just thanks for having me, and just let Ian know that he's always been one of my favorite workers too.
Oh, he's over here blushing now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I've always bragged on him, and Scott can tell you that, and so can the kids. I always bragged on Ian.
Yeah, everybody loves Ian, especially my mom.
Yeah.
My mom has a unhealthy. Yeah, she has an unhealthy obsession with Ian. I don't know what it is.
Wow.
So, but all right. Thanks for being on the show, Christa. And well, I know I'll be talking to you soon. So
yeah. Well, thank you very much, and we really appreciate you taking the time.
Well, thanks for having me. I wouldn't behave.
Wow. No point in that. All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right, bye.
All right, well, that was the woman, Christa Prater. I thought it was a pretty good interview.
Yeah, and as you can tell, we've had a lot of history with her. I mean, Daryl's related to her.
Yeah, I'm her nephew, so there's only 2 years apart between us.
Right.
So we really grew up more like brother or sister.
Right.
We fight like brother or sister, too.
Yeah,
so.
and she was, Scott is the one that trained me as a wrestler, and so growing up in the wrestling business with their guidance of her being my promoter and Scott being the booker, it taught me a lot about being behind the business, because I tried to help them the best I could, and absorb their knowledge as well, so I owe a lot to them for what they've taught me.
She's very knowledgeable. I mean, like she said, her and I both grew up in the business. Her brother, my uncle, then Scott's also my uncle, obviously, and then her dad, my grandpa, refereed for so long, and then we got other family members that's in it. So, I mean, I'm glad we got her on.
Yeah, it was a great interview. I learned a lot about her, about, some of her opinions about wrestling.
Yeah.
So.
Now, she mentioned a couple of wrestlers that I want to get in touch with that I think will be great for y'all. That's the Awesome One and Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah.
I know them personally. I know you know them. And they're great. I like watching them work. They work real hard.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really good. So I'm working on trying to get in touch with them and get them on the show.
Yeah.
So hopefully coming up in the future sometime we can get them on. And I know we got some other cool guests coming up I'm excited about.
Yeah, so after this interview, next week will actually be CC Devlin's son.
Yeah, Matt Devlin.
Yep. So tune in for that next week for the interview. But if the next video that'll come out will be on Friday, and that will be the pro segment where we review SummerSlam from last week. So.
All right. Well, I'm Daryl.
And I'm Ian. And this is the Announcer's Table presented by ringicon.com. And just remember to check out ringicon.com, and you can create your profile and tell people about your experience with wrestling. So.
Yep, and for the ladies out there, there's a sexy picture gallery of Ian.
I don't think so.
I added it.
Oh, okay. So, well, that's it for the interview, and see you next time.